All right, so welcome back for another gear review. So today we're going to talk about a company that we have been in love with really since they kind of found it. You know, well, we found them, and it just was at the same time as they started up, and they have been coming out with some great gear and coming out with a lot of it, and it's super durable and super strong. And yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about, you know, a pair of trekking poles, some gaiters, and then a headlamp that we've both been running. So we both run the Peax Sissy Stix trekking poles, and then we both run the Peax Duo headlamp. And then Garrett picked up a pair of the Peax gaiters this year for his Alaska trip. So yeah, we've been running these Peax Backcountry Pros for the last 4 years. You know, ever since we did our first backcountry elk hunt, we decided we needed a pair of trekking poles. So not only are they good if you have some, you know, bad joints. I've had 3 knee surgeries. Garrett's had countless numbers of ankle surgeries, and yeah, they help you out a lot. And then it's just super smart to have a good pair of trekking poles for some heavy pack outs, and then some longer hikes, making sure you get some shore footing.
In Alaska, we had one of the guys on our trip did not bring trekking poles and got a bull down on day 1 and instantly regretted it. One, walking on the tundra, like I would not have been able to walk on the tundra naked without trekking poles because it's just so hard to walk on. And then he had, you know, a full pack with all that caribou meat on there, trying to walk out on the tundra without trekking poles, and he said it was like the most miserable thing.
I bet.
And he's like, I will never forget to take trekking poles with me anywhere I ever go again. So I mean, that's just another, you know, point of why you would want trekking poles.
You know, Peax has got 3 types of poles that you can get. They're all relatively the same. There's just some minor differences in between each of them, going from the handle to the length to kind of how they break down. They have a really awesome Z pole that breaks down almost kind of like a tent stake would for like your dome tent. And then they have the Backcountry Pros, which are like their original sticks that they came out with. And then the Backcountry Elites, which I think are just a little bit lighter.
They're all carbon.
Oh, they're all carbon.
So for the carbon and aluminum.
Yes. So your 2 uppers are carbon, and then your bottom is aluminum. So that way you get the lightweightness of the carbon, but you get the durability and the strength of both the carbon and the aluminum going into it. They all have a, I believe it's like a steel or a tungsten tip on them. That also comes with a cap that you can put over the top of it. And then when you get these sticks, you'll get the basic baskets, the small mini baskets like this, and then you'll get a larger snow basket as well that comes with it. One mistake that I know I've made is not running them with the baskets.
I made that mistake in Alaska.
Yeah, so you know, I instantly just put on the little baskets. Yeah. So you can see they break down to 3 condensed down into 3 sections. You know, 24 inches is just like this, so it's nice and small. It can fit inside my pack if I needed to, or on the outside, so it's easy and to get. And then you can go all the way, and the farthest extension, it goes out to 54 inches. So, you know, me, 6 foot, I don't really typically run it all the way out like this. I'll go down just a little bit more. But if you are on the taller side, these poles work for you as well. So these poles come in at 7.5 ounces each. So when you're running your 2 poles, you know, that's less than a pound, right, for 2 poles. So really can't complain about that. You know, I've shoved these deep into the dirt and, you know, kept going. And where typically most trekking poles would break at that point, these things have not.
And even with them being aluminum, I've been surprised because I've done it some like really muddy stuff where I've buried them and then gone forward and it didn't bend.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've nothing but great things to say about these. I know people out there that usually they'll go through a set of trekking poles a year, and you know, if you watch a lot of our videos or enough of our videos, if I've used them and not broke them, that's saying something. Because I break everything.
This is true. And you can beat somebody.
Yes, you can. Or using like this. if a bear's coming at you. Stab them. I really like the handle as well. So they have the loop that you can put into your wrist, and then this nice foam handle is great. They do have a cork handle as well for some of the people that like the old traditional more style. But just the way it's shaped is I really love it. And then this top on this, just the shape of it and the way it goes in, it's just super comfortable. And
That's actually the way I typically use it.
is like almost like a cane style.
Yeah, so this is how I'm going to use my trekking pole, is I'll put the strap over and then just on top, and the way that fits in the palm of your hand, that's how I'll do it, because I'll run mine a little shorter. So essentially I'm sitting with my forearm parallel to the ground and on top. I find that I like that better because it allows me to really stabilize myself so I don't fall.
Yeah, and these lock systems, haven't had them fail either.
Nope. And
they are great. You can adjust them how tight you want them. And if they get a little bit loose, you just tighten them on up and go on down. And I mean, great system that they have for locking the sticks in place. Yeah, and that's the trekking poles.
Yeah, they're great. Check them out.
Yeah, go to Peax. We have a link down at the bottom that you can click on. Get yourself a pair if you haven't. And if you do have a pair of trekking poles, you're going to want to upgrade before you get into any really crazy heavy pack outs.
All right, so next up is the Storm Castle Gaiters from Peax. And I've bought these this year specifically for my Alaska trip. We're going to be up on the north slope of the Brooks Range, and in that tundra and water, I mean, it's just a mess, right? So these things ended up being a lifesaver. And I'll tell you what, not just the fact that they help keep me dry, it helped protect my pants, but also the fact that they are super, super durable. These things are pretty simple construction and they're pretty simple to put on. Like any other gaiter, you're going to have this strap on the bottom. This has got Kevlar in it, so it makes it super durable. And like I wore this for an entire week on the tundra up there, and there's hardly any wear on these at all.
Yeah, usually when I talk to people about gaiters, that's what breaks.
Right.
They walk through it, or just because that's on the bottom of your foot.
Right.
And so rocks, dirt, everything's getting beat up by that.
Yeah. And we were on some rough terrain. I mean, the tundra itself is pretty soft, but there's a lot of areas that we were in with a lot of rocks and stuff, and this thing doesn't look like it's been worn at all. And then the bottom piece here is going to be your 3-layer construction with the Cordura material, and then it's got the DWR waterproofing on there. The upper is just a single layer, and it's also got that Cordura material, but it still is pretty waterproof as well. It's got a real big Velcro piece on the front, which I like because it gives you a little bit of adjustment, on the how you close it, and it's also going to stay. On the bottom, you've got the clip here for your boot laces, which I find doesn't actually stay on there very well.
Yeah.
At least on my boots it didn't, but it didn't really matter because you do have, once you close it, it does have another little flap here. So when you close this, you can just, it goes right over top. I never had a problem with any of this Velcro pulling apart. Pretty good Velcro. On the top here, you've got a buckle that you can basically set and leave. So once you can put them on and size them to yourself. So with the buckle, you just clip it in there and then you can adjust it and then push down this little piece on the buckle, and then you're good. That's your sizing. And it's got this little clip here so you can take it on and off. And it works pretty good. As far as like the waterproof, like I was able to walk through the water in this thing just fine. Granted, you're not going to stand in water and stay in waterproof place. If you're going to walk through, splash through some water, it's going to keep you pretty dry. With boots and then your pants, and then this. I even found that like when we were rafting down the river, I'd have my Grundon's rain bibs on, waterproof rain bibs on, with this over top of that, and that works really, really well to keep me dry. As far as durability, I mean, I beat the living heck out of these things walking through the swamps up there, and pretty dirty. And then I mean, they're still a little dirty, but I washed them, I hosed them off, didn't pressure wash them, and they look pretty good. And then just beating through the tussocks and the different things. Didn't have any problems. There was even some the willows, going through some of like the willows and some of the waist high stuff that's pretty nasty. These things just took it really well. So I can't say enough good things about these. Granted, light use at this point, just that one trip, hard trip, and they worked out great. So I can't say enough good things about them. Highly recommend them, and check them out.
So the last Peax item that we're going to review today is the headlamp, the Peax Duo headlamp. And we both got these headlamps. I was running one a little bit before you did, and I remember like the first time I pulled it out and I turned it on, you were like, oh my God.
I can see the future.
Yes. I mean, that's probably the number one thing that I love about this headlamp is, so you got white light and red light, like a lot of your headlamps, right?
And it also has adjustable red light, which a lot of headlamps don't have.
So that's what I was going to say is, you not only have those two lights, but then you have 3 power settings. You have ultra, high, and then low for each, the white and the red light.
Right.
So, I mean, essentially you have 6 power settings that you can do. It also has a lock feature to where you can lock it to where, it's in your pack and the button gets bumped. It's not going to turn on you. And then you can actually lock it on or have it on a time setting where it just automatically goes off as well. And then the way it can rotate is just phenomenal. And then if you really needed to, you could actually pop this off of the case, and you don't even need the head strap. But lots of adjustment in it and everything like that. I mean, it runs forever. I mean, I barely have to charge this thing ever. Now, if you're running on the higher settings, the ultra settings, it's going to be lower. And then if you're running on the white light, it goes pretty fast. But I mean, ultra white light, which is the shortest amount of duration it has, and it still goes for 6 to 8 hours. Right. So I mean, that's almost a whole night pack out off of a single charge. The other nice thing about that is, so it's rechargeable. And what I like about that is, as you can see, I undid the power cap right here. Go to undo it. So it's a hidden charging port, and it means it's protected. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to get dirt or any type of debris in there to where it's going to make you not let you charge your item. It's protected underneath that sleeve, which also, when you pull this out to go charge it, now you're not going to accidentally turn it on or anything along those lines. And just, as more and more backcountry stuff is getting to rechargeable, and we got battery banks and we got solar chargers and everything like that, it really cuts your weight down that you're not packing batteries.
Because the batteries get heavy.
And batteries do get heavy. And, depending on the duration of your backcountry trip, you got to pack multiple sets of backup batteries. Yeah. So it's nice that you can just, pop this in the charger during the day off your solar or off your battery bank, and then it's ready for that night.
Or even like, using the battery bank, if you're on like a week-long trip, just having like your reset day midweek, where you kind of like just take a break and a breather, just charge batteries, especially for us with camera batteries, because that's the other thing is like as much ways we can cut in places, the better, because we got camera batteries, we've got batteries for headlamps, and I mean, you name it, having the ability to have something that's rechargeable. But now all I have is that battery bank to recharge these things. Makes it really, really nice.
The head strap is a nice stretchable elastic, not super thick, not super thin, and it's very adjustable based off your head size. And I mean, I haven't had a problem with this thing slipping at all off my head, anything along those lines. Easy to adjust, and everything like that. So, and the way it's weaved into the actual head mount itself is awesome, and it's going to hold it in position on your head, not let it slide around, or if you got to tilt it off to the side or do something crazy like that. So I talked about, the shortest amount of time that it will run. The lowest, if it's on the low red beam setting, it will run for actually 69 hours, and that's phenomenal.
Yeah, I like a whole week in Alaska using it there. Granted, not a whole lot of darkness, but in the evenings when we get back to camp and using it every night and every morning inside the tent, I never once charged it.
Yeah, and my Oregon trip, 7 days, 8 nights, only using it at night, to cook and do other things like that. And inside the tent, I didn't do any night pack outs or anything like that. I didn't have to charge mine at all either. And I run it on the highest red beam setting that it has. I mean, that high red beam setting is almost like a white light.
Right.
It's amazing. And that's probably my number one thing that I'm so happy about is, walking to and from the tree stand, you want to go undetected, right? But you also need to be able to see. And this red beam on this light, I mean, you can see everything. And if you've ever whitetail hunted, and you're trying to pick a tree in a brand new area or pick an area that you want to hunt, you got to be able to see if you're going to have shooting windows and see if you have trails and everything like that. And we were able to do we just did that yesterday morning. We went into a brand new area. Well, we went into an area that we have not scouted at all this year, and picked a tree, found some shooting windows, and we did all that with our red lights on, not putting on the white light at all, and not spooking any deer or anything going on like that. So I mean, that's the number one thing I love about this light is just how bright that red light is.
Yeah.
But then the white light, when you're cutting animals up or doing work in the dark where you're not worried about that, I mean, the white light is super bright.
Stupid bright.
It's very, very bright. Don't look at your friends because you'll blind them. But yeah, like I said, I mean, we can't say enough good things about this headlamp. I mean, really any of the Peax equipment. I mean, we have been in love with all of their equipment that we've tried or, got our hands on of their stuff. So, if you go and grab a Peax item, you will not be disappointed. We can almost guarantee that. I mean, warranties, right? So I had my headlamp and it wouldn't charge anymore. And I couldn't figure out if it's something I messed up or something along those lines. Called up Peax, they said, yeah, send it right back to us. Sent it to them, and they sent me a brand new headlamp free of charge.
Yeah.
So great warranty on their equipment. No questions asked. I mean, just sent it right to me.
Yeah.
So couldn't be more happy about their customer service. Was great dealing with them, and yeah.
So there you have it. Peax equipment. Check them out. We've got the the trekking poles, the gaiters, and the headlamp. Great products. Drop some comments. Let us know what you think. If you got a question, let us know, and happy to answer it. And come back, check out some more of our reviews in the near future. And if we got a ton of other reviews that we've done over the years, go check those out. They're all still applicable, and we appreciate your guys' support. See you next time. Thinking about doing a cartwheel type of thing. Oh, fuck. Splash myself a little bit.
But your boots are dry.
My boots are dry. That's all that matters.